Hi boys and girls, we are going to start on our first project of the second quarter, and we are now doing all our projects on video. And the first one we are going to be doing is this simple shape still life. It's a vase of flowers. A still life is just a picture of something that sits on a table. It's usually not something that moves, it's something that sits still, so like flowers in a vase, a bowl of fruit, some toys on a table, some supplies on a table, maybe some art supplies or a collection of things you may set on a table that you would like to draw. So this is a vase of flowers. So this project is for kindergarten, first and second grade. It's a simple shape still life, and it's a 2-week project, so it is not due until Tuesday, November 17th. And you'll just take a picture of it and send it to me. I'll give you more information on that in a few minutes. All right, and this is an example of using a variety of simple shapes to create a still life. That's basically what our goal is for this project. All right, and we are going to start with a plain sheet of paper. And for me, for supplies, I'm actually going to use a pencil to sketch. I'm going to use some oil pastels, and I'm going to use some paint. But you are welcome to use markers, crayons, colored pencils, anything you have around the house. I'm just going to create a combination of oil pastels and paint for mine. So you can use the same materials as me or use something else. So I'm going to start with pencil because I'm going to create my shapes first, my very simple shapes. I'm going to start off with my vase shape. Now your vase can be in the middle of your paper, or you might even want to put your vase on the side, like to the left or to the right side, and that's fine too. But you want your vase to be pretty big. You don't want it to fill the whole page because you want to have room for your flowers at the top, but you want to make it a pretty good size. So I'm going to make a U shape, kind of like that, on my paper. Looks like a U. All right, and now I'm going to start putting some simple flower shapes on my picture. The first thing shape I'm going to do is make a rose, and these are just really simple basic rose buds. So I'm going to start with a circle, and your circles don't have to be perfectly round, but I'm going to put some circles where I want my roses to go. So I'm going to make a big circle here, medium circle, maybe a little circle down here at the bottom. And this is my vase, and so the flowers are like on the top of the vase, okay? So I've got 3 roses here, and right now they just look like circles, but I'm going to make them look like roses by adding a spiral. So inside the circle, I'm going to start on the circle, and I'm very carefully going to create a swirling spiral like that. You might want to practice this on the back, so if you want to practice spirals, you can see I did some practicing back here. You can just practice making spirals before you do them on your paper. So I'm going to make some spirals, and now they look a little bit more like roses. Okay, so I've got some roses there, and you can put the roses wherever you want. You can see this one even has a little rose bud, so if you want to do a little rose bud. Now, the next flower that's really easy to make is a tulip. So I'm going to make these two, I'm going to make some tulips. Tulips are kind of like our vase. They start off with a U shape. So I'm going to pick 2 parts. I'm going to put one right here. So this is going to be a U shape. There's where one of my tulips are going to go. And then I'm going to put another tulip, kind of U shape. It's kind of turned sideways, like it's kind of hanging over. So I've got 2 U shapes. And inside the U shape, I'm going to make a V. So I'm starting at the top of the U and going down to the center and then back up to make a V inside the U so it looks like a tulip. Same thing here, a V shape, and I have 2 tulips. All right. After that, I have, if you want to put some fancy flowers in like these daisies and things, you can. I'm not going to show those today. I'm just going to keep these simple flowers like I have in this one. I'm going to make these little, they almost look like little berries, and they're hanging off these stems. So I kind of like the way that they kind of hang down and they go up above the vase a little bit. It kind of makes it look really light and pretty. So first I'm going to make a stem, and I'm just going to pick a place where a stem could go. I think there could be a stem maybe going up this way. And then I might take another stem and make it go down like it's hanging down off the base. So here's a stem, and here's a stem. You could put a stem on this side, you could put one over there, wherever you want them. And then next to those stems, I'm going to make little ovals or circles. So I'm going to make an oval here, and I'm going to make one here, and then I'm going to make one here, and here, and maybe even here. So I've got these little berries or these little round little buds there. And then inside those ovals, I'm going to make another little oval or like a circle. Like this. Like that. Okay? So you can see it looks kind of like this, right? So you can see how this one looks kind of like this one. All right. Now you can see here I've added some leaves, and my leaves really, they're not too hard. You could even do triangles. In fact, I'm going to show you an easy way. If you want to curve them like these, you can, but I'm going to show you how you can just use little triangle shapes to make leaves. So if I just go like this and make an up-down motion like that, that's a great leaf. And I can even put another smaller one inside. That's a great leaf. Maybe I want to put one over here. That's a great leaf. Maybe I want to put one over here. That's awesome leaf. You might even want to put one off a vine. See how this has a little vine here? You don't have to. I might put a little vine here and maybe put some leaves. You can get fancier. You can make them curved like this if you want to. Some people like them curved like that. Okay. But look, I've got quite a lot of flowers here. I can add more if I want to. Just kind of do as many as you think you need to make your vase look full. All right. The last part I want to put on with my pencil right now is I want to put this little line here. This is the line for the table. And you can see that when I draw the line, it doesn't really go through the vase. It actually starts on this side, and then it stops, and then it goes all the way over here, and then starts again and goes over to the other side. So this down here is my table, and this back here is the wall behind the vase. So it looks like the vase is sitting on the table. So I'm going to take my pencil, and I'm going to draw a horizontal line on one side, stop, find the other side, and continue it on the other side like that. Okay? This is a great start. This is the perfect place to start moving toward a crayon, an oil pastel, or a marker. So I just happen to have this dark brown crayon, oil pastel right here, and you can use black. You can see I use black for these. I really like the way the black looks on the lines, but I'm going to use brown today just for something different. You could use green. I wouldn't use a light color, but definitely a dark color so that I can go over the lines and really make them stand out. So I'm going to take my brown oil pastel or a brown crayon or a brown marker or a dark colored marker, and I'm going to go over all my lines. And that makes my lines really stand out because pencil lines are not very dark, and it's hard to see pencil lines. So I'm just going to trace over all my lines. And feel free to stop the video anytime if you need a little more time working on something. Or you can rewind the video several times, like that. I'm going over all my lines. I'm not coloring anything in, you notice that. I'm not coloring things in yet because I'm going to want to color things in lots of different colors. I'm just going over the lines to make them really stand out. I'm just taking my time and going slow. I've had lots of practice doing this, so I can go fairly quickly, but for you, just learning how to trace and go over lines, it may take you a little bit of time. Almost done here. And if you go off the pencil lines a little bit, no one's going to know, so I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, that looks pretty good. See if I need anything else. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, feel free to pause the video if you're still working on that. But when you are ready, we're going to go ahead and go on to some color. Now you can see here I did all my flowers in these really pretty warm colors like reds and oranges and pinks. In this one I decided to do like blues and purples. You can choose any colors you want. So I'm actually going to grab this purple since it's right here, and I think I'm going to color my tulips purple. You can do them lots of different colors. You can do them with marker. I'm using an oil pastel. The nice thing about oil pastel is they color nice and bright and deep colors. You can get them at Walmart or lots of different stores. But crayons work really well too. I love crayons. These are kind of like just soft crayons. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab, I think this might be a blue. Sometimes I like to test the colors out on the back. It looks like this is a blue. So I think I'm going to do these little berries blue. But I'm going to leave the little circle in the center and do that in a different color. So I'm going to do these berries in a pretty blue. It's kind of a blue-green. Kind of like it. It's pretty. All right. Now let's see what else I have in here. Let's see. This is a darker blue. Let's see what this color looks like. Test that on the back. Oh, that's pretty. So I'm going to use this for my roses. I think I'm going to make these roses this light blue color. It's kind of a cobalt blue. Like I said, you can do rainbow roses if you want to. This is your artwork. You choose the colors. You choose your color scheme, whatever color you choose. The best thing is to really take your time and try and get everything colored in so you don't leave a lot of white spaces. It looks so pretty when everything's colored in together. I have some green here. So I'm going to make my leaves 2 colors of green. I'm going to make a dark green on the outside. And then on the inside, I'm going to do a lighter green. And maybe these over here, I'm going to do the opposite. Dark green in the middle, light green on the outside. Let's see if I can find a lighter green here. Let's see. This will work. Do a little light green here. Light green in here. Looks nice. Okay, and I need a color for inside here. I think I'm going to do something totally different and do an orange. Okay, so I've colored in all my flowers. Now I need to color my vase. Let's see what color this purple is. For a new color here. See if I can find a lighter purple. Or here's a light blue. Here's a light blue for my vase. I'm going to color that vase in. You could do your vase in different colors. I've seen some students like to do them in stripes or polka dots. I'm just doing mine in one color. My oil pastel broke, that's okay. I'm just going to peel it and keep going. Oil pastels are very soft, so sometimes they break. I know I may be moving the whole table while I'm coloring this. You could also paint your vase if you wanted to. I like the look of oil pastels, so But like I said, any material that you have at home that you can use is completely fine. Whatever you have. Okay, so I've got my vase colored in. Now, if you notice here on my originals, I took a little bit of oil pastel and I made some patterns in the background before I painted. If that's something you want to do, see how I add some swirls and some stripes? If you want to add some kind of design to the background before you paint, you can. Like I might want to put some wavy lines in my background before I paint, just to add some texture and some motion. And then maybe on my table, maybe I want to add some lines. I'm just adding a little design here. That looks kind of pretty before I paint. And I decided that my background I'm going to paint in warm colors. Warm colors are like the yellows and oranges and reds. That way maybe my vase will really stand out. So I'm actually going to paint my background. So I've got some water here. These are watercolor paints. You could paint with other kinds of paints. Watercolors are pretty easy to find. You can get them in lots of places. So I'm going to have a lot of water on my brush, lots of paint on my brush. My paint's a little dirty. Let's see if I can clean that up. That looks pretty good. I'm going to paint my background this pretty yellow. Might even add a little orange. I just want to make sure I rinse my brush between colors so I don't mess up my paints. So I might do a little orange, little yellow. I can mix it right up on my paper. That color looks nice. The nice thing about the oil pastels and crayons is I can paint right next to my oil pastel and the paint's not going to stick to it because the oil pastel creates like a resist because it's oily and the paint won't stick to it, so I don't have to be too careful. If I use marker and I try to paint next to marker, it might smudge up my marker, so sometimes with that I have to be a little more careful. But with this, I can work pretty quickly. You could do a rainbow back there. You could do all kinds of fun things. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to put some red down here on my table. You can see how that oil pastel just kind of still shows, even though I'm putting red paint on it. The yellow will still kind of show through because it's oily and the paint can't stick to it. That's why it's called a resist. It resists the paint. It looks even better when it dries. So I'm just going to finish that up. And we'll let that dry a little bit. If I want to add something else, I can. I actually think I might put a little more dark around my flowers. I decided I want to put a little more red back here. Once you start painting, sometimes you feel like you could paint all day. And then I got a little bit of paint on my vase, so I'm just gonna wet my paper towel and just kind of wipe that off. That looks pretty good. And then let it dry. And then you're all set. So when you're complete, when your vase is complete and your still life is all finished, you're gonna wanna take a picture of it, and then you're gonna wanna send it to me. And there should be, I'll have a link on my website, but also this is the email address, white82@leonschools.net. So you can just send it to me by the 17th, and you'll have one completed picture. I can't wait to see your beautiful still lifes.